Welcome to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. So today is a special show for me because for the very first time, my mother is here to watch me live all the way from Houston, Texas. I don't see her out there. Maybe, okay, she ain't here yet. Okay. All right. You know, people got to go to the bathroom at the very last minute. Before we get started, let me invite everyone to connect with us by commenting on the foxsoul.tv message board, or you can call us 866-FOX-SOUL or 866-369-7685 because we are live, baby, and we want to hear from you. So it's time for some Tam Talks. Y'all ready? Can Tam talk to y'all? Yeah. Okay, so Kelly Keaton is one of my best friends. She's white. But we love each other dearly, and sincerely, I'm the seasoning in her life. Right. Everything we do, everywhere we go, I Zataran it up and fill that cup with about 20-11 scoops of sugar, because everything black folk do is sweet. See, Kelly and I be on simple walks, and I say to myself, a walk. Let me put some season on that. All of a sudden, we singing, we dancing, and we creating songs along the boulevard. Look at that black girl sprinkling magic in that white girl's walk. Yes. Kelly just switching and swaying and intently listening to what I'm saying. Why? Because I put seasoning on that. See, if I'm telling a story about Jackie buying a new pair of shoes, I make sure the trailer is better than the movie. Oh, I put seasoning on that. A dash of drama, a swifter of sing-song, a little touch of suspense, and I say it like this. Kelly, girl, you ain't even gonna believe this here. Jackie bought a new pair of shoes. Yep, bam. Emerald who? This what we do. Black folk pop it, show out, and shake season on you. Don't let us laugh. Don't let it be funny, because that's when black folk take off running. That season. And season, if the reason is laughter. See, flavor is why everybody is after our sauce. All right. So let me toss you another thing we bring. Hold on. Did somebody just faint at the funeral? Did they just kiss the body? Did they leave a liquor bottle in the casket? Did they just do a praise dance, booty dance, spoken word, and fashion show before they laid Big Mama to rest? Yes! That's just a little season. And while we in church, let's talk about the season we be pleased to add during service. See, Sister Betty's hat is wide as the door and tall as the steeple, yet the people ain't gonna say nothing because that's that season. Mother Inez can't sing, but is the loudest in the choir, and those speakers, they ain't never gonna rewire. Why? If it was good enough for Pastor Jackson, it's good enough for Pastor Robinson. Who he think he is coming in here like he owned the place? No, I didn't move on. I'm talking about the church, where we keep it crunk and like a skunk stink it up, because that's what happens when you put a little season on it. Oh, and please don't let us graduate. Wait. We bringing bullhorns and cowbells. Everybody got the school colors, and when we walk on that stage, I'm about to tell them. We be real cool, calm, collective, ready to snatch that degree and show our most educated, dignified side. Then from the back of the crowd, I heard my mama, "That's my baby!" Then my cousin Pam, Jay, and Tiffany and my brother Mark start barking in, and I forget where I am and do a flip, a little two-step, and then I yell out loud before reaching for my papers, "We did it, Mama!" Hey, what just happened after graduation? We just put a little season on that.
That's right.
And some of us don't have the means to make it a formal level of learning. You know what I'm saying? But that's cool, because we celebrate that too.
That's right.
Tyrone, who we call Man, seasoning, baby, seasoning. Man just got out of jail. But we ain't gonna make Man feel less than. Oh no, we got banners and cakes and pies and plates full of shit he couldn't get while he was locked up. We all wearing shirts ain't Nina made on her silk press she used for her side hustle. We miss Man. Welcome home, Man. Then Man asked firmly, "Where little Man at?" Smiling bright with his baseball bat, there he sat, by Tyrone Jr. 8, Lil Boo 2, Tanithia and Tasha 9, but not twins, Tyresa 10, Tyron 12, Tata 5, the twins Taisha and Talisha 15, all baby mamas being cool right now, but after Mama leave, you know it's going down, because they got to put a little seasoning on it. So the next time you see black people doing the most, like me, Tammi Mac, doing spoken word while I host. When you wonder why we always extra, just know it's a little pepper. While we talk like we talk, it's just a little salt. While we act like we act, it's a matter of fact. All we doing is putting a little seasoning on that. We got an exciting show lined up for you tonight. We getting ready to soak in the magic of transformative words through spoken word and poetry, brought to you by the absolute best of them in the craft, and I do mean best, baby. So I had to come hard on the show today. You understand what I'm saying? Our performers tonight are masters at using words to creatively transform both their art and their lives of others, and I can't wait for us to hear what they have to say. Our first performer has just broken a record as the first contemporary spoken word poet to receive a Grammy nomination for the Best Spoken Word Album category in 30 years. Last time that happened, it was Maya Angelou. Please welcome Sekou Andrews to the show. Hey, Sekou.
What's up, Mama?
I am so ready to hear your words, my brother.
Well, you just blessed us, so now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got some big shoes to fill in right now.
Oh, well, I ain't got no Grammy nominations, so I don't know about them shoes.
But you got some seasoning on it.
There it is, baby, there it is. So y'all, Sekou about to put a little seasoning on it.
All right, this is off of the Grammy-nominated album of spoken word poetry and symphony orchestra called Sekou Andrews and the String Theory. This is Love Says. Love says some stupid stuff sometimes, don't it? Right? I mean, love says, love will set you free. Really? You just gonna free everybody, love? Love says, love makes the world go round. That's not physics. That's just you, love. Love says, love conquers all. I mean, can you believe the ego on this emotion? Look, okay, so you're saying with all the rancor around us, all the ammo we need to fight it, all the armor we need to survive it, and love says all you need is love. Wrong. Sometimes a brother needs wine too. Something to help me deal with watching the news, but not being the news. Sorry, love. I need to hear what rage says to get me through. all these attacks, all this malice, so much injustice in the world, while love was barely helpful during the breakup with my last girl. Because love says hateful stuff, like, if you love something, let it go. If it doesn't return, it was never yours to begin with. I mean, that's cold, love. You know, love says hurtful stuff, like, all is fair in love and war. I don't think all is fair, really? Love says harmful stuff, like, no, you're not too drunk, go ahead and text her. And all of this has brought me to the uncanny conclusion that love is a hater. Think about it, right? The same neural circuits in our brain that light up from feelings of romantic love also activate from feelings of intense hatred. So it's a scientific fact that love is a hater. And to that, love says, you are absolutely right. Love says, the greatest trick hate ever pulled is convincing the world it actually exists. Love says, there is no such thing as a hate crime. No. There are only love crimes mangled into hate crimes. The cop who hates crime suffocates an unarmed man for the love of safety. The Crip who hates bloods splatters it across a playground for the love of gang. The soldier who hates terrorists slaughters insurgents for the love of country. The terrorist who hates blacks bombs a church for the love of race. The school bully who hates an abusive mother smashes a classmate's skull into a bathroom mirror to earn the love of that abusive mother, and grows up seeking that reflection of love from abusive lovers, and perpetuates the cycle of abuse to others until it almost seems impossible for two people to discover love across their otherness and find one another. And just when the thought of it all leaves my hope all but smothered and makes my blood rage and my pulse race, just when the thought of vengeance leaves the voice of love replaced, suddenly I feel two lips press electricity into the back of my neck, and I turn to see her standing there. And I find refuge in the eyes of my love, eyes that always seem to speak directly to my heart. And I'm reminded of the duality of love. I'm reminded of a study I read once that found that if two people gaze into each other's eyes for long enough, their heart rates will start to synchronize. This is why love says it has always been both the reason for every war and the cause for every truce. Love says it is both the screams from the lovers' fight and the screams from their make-up sex. Love says the trick to humanity's job is to figuring out how to keep up the make-up sex, but cut down on the fights. Love says do not run from the fight, run to the fight to stop it. You must stop this fight, for any fight is no good unless it is a fight for us. So fight for us, love says. You fight for her. Her. Oh, when love says her name with my tongue, it is heard like all the beautiful sounds in the world in a single word. Turns out it is through her I can conquer all. And she makes my world go round, and all I need is her. Sometimes the what to fight for can be the why to not fight and the how to stop fighting. Like the childless mother, card-carrying member of MAD, who invites the drunk driver over that killed her child 5 years ago for dinner so that she can look into his eyes and fight off the rage and look into his eyes. But rip off her tears and look into his eyes and unclench her heart and look into his eyes long enough to find forgiveness. And maybe that is all love is really saying. Come find me. Even when you have everything to lose, come find me. in the open palm of your enemy until you discover an unfathomable friend in that sacred ceasefire of space between black and white, between white and Puerto Rican, between Muslim and Montague, patriot and immigrant, liberal and Krupke, conservative and Catholics and Crips and Jets and queers and vets, and maybe what we have to do to prevent, fight the power, and we shall overcome, and si se puede, and hell no, we won't go, and I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Maybe what we have to do to prevent I can't breathe is let love be the first act that takes our breath away. To stare into each other's eyes long enough to recognize our humanity and allow our heartbeats to sink. To silence the fight in us long enough to fight the silence in us until we, each of us, can finally hear what love says. Thank you.
Sekou, come talk to me.
Thank you.
There you
All
go,
right,
my brother.
Little tissue here.
Yeah, yeah.
Little pat. Okay. Makeup, wardrobe, lights.
Yeah, let's do it all. You took my breath away.
Thank you.
You took my breath away. I like literally have no words. I don't know where to start. So I'll start with, am I mistaken, or were you once Sekou the Misfit?
Yes, ma'am. For all the OG fans out there, Sekou the Misfit is up in here, right? I see you. Couple cuckoos.
Yeah,
That's how you know.
got your little funky Grammy nomination
That's right.
and change your last
no,
name.
no, we don't forget who we came from.
Yeah, so tell me what's up with that. Let's explore that transformation.
So, Sekou the Misfit was the stage name because, you know, I came to spoken word through hip hop and through acting. So I fell in love with the stage. I fell in love with hip hop, songwriting, theater, and started pursuing all of it through middle school, high school, college, and beyond. And I chose my stage name, Sekou the Misfit. And then as I started going to open mics for my, build a fan base for my music, I kind of accidentally fell in love with spoken word. That was not the plan, right? Because I was chasing the $1 billion hip hop industry, not the $100 poetry industry, right? So, but I loved it, and I found myself getting excited about pioneering new trails for spoken word. And so as I began to release my CDs under the name Sekou the Misfit, that was my stage name, it was actually a pivotal moment when Sekou Sundiata is an elder poet, really popular and dope poet who carried the name Sekou. And I always felt like I had to have Sekou the Misfit to differentiate me in the spoken word thing from him. And then he passed away. And when he left us, I just sort of symbolically felt like it was a passing of the Sekou torch. And it was sort of an invitation for me to just embrace Sekou, just my full name, Sekou Andrews, and to let go of, you know, my stage name. I was in my, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson phase. You know what I mean?
And you're a Fresh Prince, Will Smith.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I got it.
My Ludacris Bridges phrase.
Your Puff Daddy, Sean Combs.
You know it.
Got it.
So I was Sekou the Misfit Andrews for a minute, and then I was just like, I want to embrace, you know, at the time I was starting to think about planning my own family. And so I was like, I want to embrace my dad's name who passed away 20-something years ago. And I was like, it's time to embrace the name Andrews. Yeah, so that was the journey. And now, you know, it's just grown folks' time now, you know. I'm grown, so it's my full name. I don't need no misfit no more.
They ain't calling you Madman no more.
Right, exactly. The twins, that line was classic. You said they both 9, but not twins.
You know how they go.
That was classic.
So what has the journey been? Because you have been doing spoken word for quite some time.
Yeah.
And to come from this place where it's not really acknowledged on a mainstream level in terms of Grammys or in terms of, I just say white folk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a mainstream thing. It's kind of, I love spoken word. Yeah. You know that about me.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm a fan.
You've been supporting spoken word for years. That's how we know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, how did you manage to help it cross over, if just a little?
So, I was pursuing law school originally. I was planning on going to law school. Graduated pre-law, and worked in law firms, and felt like that wasn't for me. I started doing teaching. I was a 5th grade teacher out in South Central LA for about 4 years, but always knew I loved it. It's a hard job to do.
Did you use
really
it to
hard
teach
live.
sometimes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I knew it wasn't meant for that stage, and so I quit my job to take the risk of being a full-time poet, not really knowing what that means, right?
Yeah, hold on, stop the bus. You don't quit a job with benefits, vacation, insurance, and you try to be a poet that they don't even pay you to do that.
Thank you.
You couldn't have had no woman. You had to be as single as they come. Because if my man I'm going to quit to go do some poetry, because I could at least respect somebody who quit to go do some rapping.
Yeah, that's right.
But poetry,
that's right. Poetry
I don't know about
nobody even knows how we exist. Like it was, and I didn't. I had to study the few cats that I saw that were doing it. Talam AC, I was studying. I was studying Jahaza and Nabu. I was studying Cats of the Lounge, Shihan. I was studying the handful of cats out there that I could see that were making a living off of their art. But I always felt like there should be a bigger trajectory for poets. Like that was the tragedy for me, is that, I quit 17 years ago.
And never went back.
I've been a full-time poet for 17 years. I have never went back, never missed a day of rent, never missed a mortgage payment. At this point, never missed a payroll.
Oh, you done went from rent to mortgage too?
Oh, 2 mortgage, payroll for 7 people on a team. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Look, so I don't.
That's great.
And never had a girlfriend, and sometimes paid that rent. You know what I'm saying?
There it is.
Off poetry. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Hallelujah. Yes.
So, but the problem was I felt like you got the traditional trajectory for a poet. You quit, you do clubs and cafes, right? Fly Poet, the Poetry Lounge, New Eurekan, you're touring around, and then
competitions.
You got the slam competitions, right? Then you graduate and you start doing colleges. Checks get bigger, right? So you can make a good, decent living off of that. You're on a roll all the time, and then that's it. Then you kind of either quit or you go into teaching, or you write, you publish, but there wasn't a next level and a next level and a next level for poets like there are for comedians, like there are for actors and songwriters and so forth. And I felt like that's the tragedy that I want to change. So everything about my career and my business and my life has been pursuing the mission of creating a commercially viable industry for the art form of spoken word, so that young poets can make a purposeful and a profitable living off their art.
That's good.
That's what drives me.
You made me want to do some poetry.
See, you already did. Look.
Oh, but I didn't get no check for that right there. I didn't get no check.
Real talk. Come talk to me later.
Okay, I will. But do you remember your first check you ever got from your words?
No. I do remember the first $5 cash payment I got when I released my very first CD, but it was a hip-hop CD.
Right.
After that, it's just been a big blur, so I don't really remember the first check, but I remember some milestones. I remember, these amazing moments where I purchased the first home or got the first car. I remember when I bought my car. These are the kind of moments that you just I'm not big poets. We don't stunt really. You know what I mean? No. We don't stunt. We about truth and so forth.
Y'all
so
have
it's
a whole
hard.
bunch of diamonds. And,
That's
you're
not
rocking Gucci.
So it's hard. I get real humble. I don't have these moments when I can stunt, but just secretly inside, I'm sure you can appreciate. There was a moment when talking to the car dealership dude, and he, I'm signing off on it, so I'm doing the paperwork, and he goes, "How much do you make?" Per month, right? No, per year. And I told him the amount. And he said, "How much do you make per month?" And I told him the amount. And he goes, No, I said per month.
I love it. I love it.
What I mean? He couldn't compute that was the amount per month. He's like, "You put the year amount."
Yeah, you put the year amount.
Right,
I need your
per month.
Amount.
And when I said that is the monthly amount, he was like, "Damn, can I come work for you?" And it was just as a poet, for somebody to say that was incredible. I was prideful about that,
As you should be.
Yeah, so it's just those kind of moments, the moment the company broke the 7-figure mark, and those kinds of moments when you just go this is off of poetry. This is small potatoes in the business world. I'm super tiny and inconsequential in the business world, but for the poetry world, what makes me proud is that we're kicking open doors and breaking barriers and creating the model that I didn't have for other poets to say, hey, Mom, when I tell you I actually want to be a full-time poet, this is what I'm talking about. I have a model now.
That's excellent. That's excellent. You mentioned your business and your company. I don't want you to say that so cavalier because a lot of people don't know what you're referring to. So talk about what you do as a company.
So I created a new category of public speaking called poetic voice. And poetic voice is kind of most simply defined as the seamless blend of inspirational speaking and spoken word poetry together. So if you imagine, say, like a keynote that sometimes feels like a TED Talk, and then sometimes it feels like thought leadership. And then sometimes it feels like Hamilton. And sometimes it feels like a spoken word or a story, you know what I mean? And it's just seamlessly moving in between. So I travel the globe giving keynotes to the biggest organizations in the world, biggest audiences and stages in the world, helping them to inspire to kind of become the best versions of themselves through spoken word poetry based speaking.
And you have employees as well.
Yeah, so I have a team. I have an amazing team of great support staff that helps me to make sure that we actually. It was always my goal to not just be talent. I really wanted to train myself as a leader.
And that's hard for talent.
It is. It's very hard to switch that mode. But I think the only reason why I was able to build a career off of spoken word is because I've always been part entrepreneur and part artist.
Got it.
And so I always tell poets, like when they're like, you know, what do I do? How do I start creating a business out of this? I'm like, first you got to be about your business. You have to understand business, at least enough to know what your strengths are and your weaknesses are and go fill those weaknesses with other team members. I have an amazing team of strong people that fill all my weaknesses now. And,
That's amazing.
And we're growing.
I love it. I love everything you're talking about. How can I be down, right? I want to talk about, it's so much I want to talk about with you.
While you're talking, I'm going to just pat real
Go
quick.
ahead, pat, baby. They're all for you.
Okay.
I want to talk about you working alongside people like Larry King and Quincy Jones. That's a huge, Larry King, Quincy Jones. So how, come on now.
How did that come to be, right?
How does that duality happen?
So, well, you know, a lot of these were not necessarily working alongside. Some of these were opportunities to present for these folks. But Quincy in particular, like Larry, it was just an opportunity to present for him. I've been blessed with these amazing supporters. You know, even one of your team members in your booth came to me. He was like, "I'm part of this group that you're in," and that group has, you know, championed me to say, "Hey, this is the person that you need to have at this event or this private party or this conference or whatever." And so, a big part of my business was built. I didn't do traditional marketing. Like it's poetry. You can't do traditional marketing with spoken word because everybody thinks that they understand spoken word. Half of them think they don't like it.
Yeah.
They think of a poet talking to them like this, like this, like this, right? Or they think Shakespeare, or they think a beat poet, or they think just somebody yelling at them for 3 minutes in a slam piece. And so I'm always battling those preconceived notions of spoken word, first of all. So, and then there's no value. They also think, well, this is the thing that I see for free at an open mic, so why would I ever pay for that, right? So these are the things that I was always up against when I was building the company. But I decided instead of doing traditional marketing, I was going to really nurture my evangelists, like those ambassadors out there that were riding for me. That was like, this changed my life, it changed my company, it changed my trajectory.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, tell her,
please,
you know.
Yeah.
And that's really was my marketing technique. I always say my company was built off 4 words: there is this poet. And it was you telling you,
there is this poet.
I know what you're thinking when I say poetry, take the meeting.
Yeah.
And when they did, that's how I sort of built my groundswell, and that led to people connecting me with amazing folks, Norman Lear and Larry King and Quincy Jones. I just had an amazing night, I got to tell you, at Quincy Jones' house. I reached out
Look at him
to
dropping Quincy, amazing night at Quincy Jones' house.
I was just chilling the cues. You know what we do.
Go ahead.
We call that Wednesday, you know. So I went to this event that Quincy was having at his house where he was honoring Lil Nas X, and Lil Nas X was getting his diamond plaque, and Quincy interviewed him. And this was the night the second round of Grammy voting. So I'd gotten the Grammy nomination, and suddenly the very first night of Grammy voting, as a first-time nominee, I went to Quincy's house and spent it with the person who has received the most Grammy nominations ever in history, right? So I just felt like I was surrounded by this amazing juxtaposition of like, I'm at the beginning of my journey and this is where I could be. And then about 2 weeks later, I reached out to Q and I was like, hey, I really just want your help and just to have you pour into me about this experience and what I should be doing. And sat down with him on his couch, man, and it was like 5 hours of just literally
you
me
and
him
Quincy
on his couch. And every time, you want to be respectful. So every time there was a lull in the conversation, I'd be like, all right, let me get out your hair. And he'd be like, boy, sit down. Like, I'm enjoying it. I brought you here. Come on, let's talk.
That's all right.
It was amazing.
I can't let you go before people know. Can you just name a couple of people who were nominated alongside you and your Grammy, please?
So
give us all the nominees.
The people that were nominated. There was, first of all, one of my favorites was a book by, I'm gonna butcher the last name, but it's Eric Alexandrakis. And he had a book about being a 2-time cancer survivor. Amazing cat, amazing wife, loved the story. The Beastie Boys book. John Waters, who's a TV filmmaker, had a book. And then the person we lost to was a little known act. You might not have heard of her. I think she's a small act from Chicago called Michelle Obama. I don't know if you, anybody, do you know her?
Yeah, are you familiar with her?
A couple people familiar with her? Yeah. So yeah, everybody's been like, if you got to get beat,
it might as well be an Obama.
You know what I mean? Like, get beat by, I think Michelle has the #1 selling autobiography ever or something. Like, it's amazing. But the win for us truly was the nomination, because the reason why it's been 30 years since a spoken word, a contemporary spoken word poet has been nominated for a Grammy is because audiobooks rule the category. Which means we're always competing against a president or a major celebrity. So when I went after this Grammy, I was going after it with an album I knew was going to be Grammy caliber. And I had my own album that I was working on initially, chasing after this goal. But then I met the String Theory, a symphony orchestra out of Europe that was amazing. And we came together and built this album of spoken word and alternative symphony orchestra. And I told them, this is the Grammy caliber album now. I'm switching them. And I'm going after the Grammy with this one. And I had non-believers all over.
Of course.
Like everybody from my friends to some of the String Theory folks were like, that's cool. Yay. Sure. Are you sure? And then my mom said something to me one time. I was talking to her and she said, telling her about the goal, and she said, well, yeah, it sounds crazy. She said, but you haven't ever really gotten where you've gotten by being realistic or caring about reality.
There it is.
And when she said that, I was like, that's true.
Yeah.
So let's keep going.
Moms know best.
Moms know best.
Yeah. Before I let you out of here, we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because this show is about journeys.
Yeah.
And I want to know a number. I want you to put a number on this before we go. How long do you think, how many years has it taken you to get to this point as of today?
Meaning, what was the sort of starting point till now?
Yes.
Well, I mean, the easy answer obviously is all my life.
How many years? Let's put a number on it.
I would probably say, 35 years.
Wow. Yeah.
From the time that I kind of fell in love with the stage, roughly around then to now.
To now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important that people know that things have to marinate.
Yeah. Well, I'm an overnight success. I'm a 35-year overnight success.
Everybody give it up for Sekou Andrews. Thank you so much for being here, my brother. Thank you. We're taking a quick break, but we're coming back because I have more powerful words to share with you. Yes, I do. It's the Tammi Mac Late Show, y'all.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Mike Hill, and this is my man Donnie Harrell, the West Side Fly Guy, the original one himself. Make sure you check our show out. It's the Mike and Donnie Show on Fox Soul. It comes on 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, and Donnie, we talk about some real issues on
Yes,
this
we
one.
do. We give it to you raw. We give it to you real. We give people a voice. And what else we do, Mike?
You know what? And we got real people on the show. It's the Mike and Donnie show. We'll give it to you everything that you need in the black culture, man, because this is what we do, and this is the reason we signed up for it.
Hey everyone, I'm Tammi Mack, and be sure you catch my show, The Tammi Mack Late Show, every weeknight at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Fox Soul is doing the electric slide while your uncle plays dominoes with your daddy and them, and your mama bringing him his plate at the cookout. Fox Soul is Howard, FAMU, North Carolina A&T, Prairie View, Morehouse, and Bennett College. Fox Soul is black excellence, black culture. Fox Soul is what has been missing, us. Fox Soul is listening to you. Fox Soul is where your voice lives.
Hey, beloved, I'm Dr. Sean. Make sure you catch my show On the 7 with me, Dr. Sean, every weeknight at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, where I talk about all that is true, all that is possible, and all that is becoming about what it means to be black in this country. You don't want to miss it because it's only here where your voice lives.
Tammi Mack, oh, what show is that? Tammi Mack Show on Fox Soul.
Welcome back to the Tammi Mack Late Show on Fox Soul. If you're just tuning in, baby, we are having a day full of words. That is spoken words. And I don't want to keep speaking my words. It's time for our next performance. I want you to give it up for Queen Socks and Food for Thought. They call themselves Still Waters.
Is it the pucker in her lips?
Lips.
The sensual way she walks?
She walks.
The twist in her wrist?
Wrists.
Or is it the way she puts her hands on her hips and make her backbone slip? What is it that you love about the black woman?
Everything.
Is it the touch in her hand?
Yes.
Or the way she stands by her black man?
Yes.
Is it her birth-given tan that makes her African, or the soft in her skin? Is it the way she carries the world and lifts it off your shoulders? Or when times grow hard, she grows bolder. Or the way she never bought just anything, so no master could have ever sold her. The way she keeps you warm, baby, when it gets cold. The way her mind is set. Her confidence, her chameleon personality, her ability to dominate and turn heads in any room. Her tenacity. The beauty in her body when not even she can see it in her face. She lived a long life, and things happen. No room for despise, no more tears to cry, just passion in her eyes. The strength of 10 guys at 6 feet tall, 250 pounds with pearly white teeth, with that strong piece of leather that holds his pants up around his waist, or the way he lifts weights to keep everything in place. Or is it that tall, slim man with that coffee brown skin, trading in his two-seater for that family-sized minivan? And together they stand, and divided they don't exist. We hold each other up with the flick of a wrist, like tree branches to leaves. We pollinate the land and raise their seeds. Our kisses are wet and comedic. Our chemistry is preserving and organic. We are each other's handful, heartful. What we stand for is satisfaction guaranteed. Who can ask for more? We're the love that adoration's been looking for. We are more.
We are more.
We are educators. We are motivators. We are self-determinators. And above all else, we are great communicators. We are love.
Black spirit.
Black spirit.
I Pendi her Nusi Rojo. Roaring through ancient Baharis to capsize on her cheek. Shaman bow on magic carpet. Covering offspring with sacred sage mist. Chanting veggie Latin in the Aboriginal East Side bebop tongue. Mystery potion oozing from genie bottle, forming shadow of familiar. Beautiful black woman. Lovers, rock, lock, empress. Appear picking papayas on sovereign scalp. Spirit talking with trees. Talk to me, queen. Talk to me. Crafting copper into unk antennas. Modest dose of perpetuity in her stare. Black queen, I see you. Matriarch's daughter. Generations of strong black women. Right eye fierce, left strong. She knows the future between her legs. Nature's ovaries. Zulu shaman I am. Medicine man. Healing world. Untainted semen. They spend dynasties together. Moving through galaxies as aliens chant their name deity-like. Love in the sand castles. Coated in steel. Standing still in the midst of chaos. They are love.
We are
love. Black spirit.
Black spirit.
Oh my goodness. All right, y'all love. How are you? I'm so happy they got you on the show.
Yes, thank you.
First of all, I want everybody to know that